That was frightening. Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. In the last episode, Terry Bogard began his investigation into the ancient Corvinus Manor that we find ourselves in. Somewhere within this mansion, the Odd, or the Occult Defense Directorate, believe that there is a vampire coven, led by someone whose name I can't remember. We're here to see if this is the case, and if so, put an end to the coven. The Odd's been successful at limiting 2 of the coven so far. I don't know how many are left, but I get the impression there aren't that many, especially because in years past we've done a similar thing. In any case, Terry's looking okay at the moment. We had our first story token drawn at the end of the last episode, and Terry has earned enough experience points to earn himself a new skill card. We gained 1 edge increase. I think we gained maybe 1 aura of luck as well, and a single clue token. We also have quite a few quests we've picked up, but none of which have been completed yet. Finally, we found a morphine ample as well, something that will help us take a few hits if we need it in the future. And also, I believe it recovers a little bit of life for us. Yep, we gained 3 health, and for the next 5 combats, anytime we get a wound, there's a 50% chance that the wound's damage will be reduced by 1 point. Alright, well, let's get to it. First, skill card. Now, you'll note right away that, maybe you won't actually know right away, but I know right away that these backgrounds do not match any of the backgrounds that we could have picked at the beginning of the game. That's because your background is unique. There's something on my tongue. What the heck? A pickle bit. That was disgusting. Anyway, yes. So these are all different from the starting backgrounds, and you'll want to pay attention to what they can possibly do for you before you pick them. I'm interested in getting and having something that increases our pentacles skill. And there's a few things which will allow us to do that. We can see that ranged weapon, though, is not one of those things. It increases our swords, gives us combat feats, combat edges, and gives us a bone of swords. Or rather, these are things you can purchase for experience points. There's melee, stealth is cups for athletics. Investigator is swords and wands, but I think it goes swords, wands, then swords, or is that one? Cups and wands are mechanical devices. We have occult linguists and research, but I'm not really interested in those very much. These, though, I am interested in. We can either pick some sort of specialist when it comes to spells, or we can instead pick a talisman expert. The difference is that these will let you really hone in and say, like, I want to use the Atlantean spells. They are definitely my bread and butter. In which case you pick this, you'll gain Atlantean spells, spell edges which work with Atlantean spells, and be able to increase your pentacles. Terry, though, I don't know what type of spells he would have. He was an energy guy, if I remember correctly. I think that'll probably be Hyperborean would make sense for him. Or alternatively, we go with talismans, which also is very nice. Talismans' edges could be useful. Let's mess them up. Which is to say, let's take something else, I suppose. Although, the talisman edges are very, very nice. There's one of them which increases your stat by the number of talismans you possess of the equal stat type. So, for example, we currently have a cups talisman. That 1 talisman edge would increase our cups by 1 for each cups talisman we possess in our inventory. It's pretty nice. Alternatively, I could not take the pentacles one. I'm talking way too much about this. We could not take the pentacles one, and I could instead take something like investigator specialist or ranged or melee in order to increase these stats, and we'll leave pentacles alone. But I kind of want to be able to improve pentacles quickly. Yeah, we'll take one of these. Let's go for Hyperborean sorcery. It was an age undreamed of, when wizard kings ruled by channeling a powerful dark sorcery that eventually frayed the very fabric of reality. Only fragments of his knowledge remain, and you've dedicated yourself to uncovering what you can and harnessing the power for your own use. Done. Alright, so the very first thing we're going to want is that pentacles. Probably at least 1 point in it, so we get this up to 3. We might then want to increase this or our cups next, and then we'll want a bone of pentacles followed by a spell, would be my guess. You can't cast spells without a bone of pentacles, so it's pointless to take the spell until you get the bone first. I hope all that made sense. Alright, let's get back to it. The Ghostly Ball. Suddenly in front of you materialize a group of figures dressed in suits and evening gowns, waltzing with partners unhappily around the room. The surprise appearance from the thin air catches you off guard and startles you. This ghostly ball is quite disconcerting, even though the ghosts seem to be unaware of your presence. You struggle to keep a rein on any fears that would chip away at your sanity. Terry, still afraid of everything since we started this adventure. The ghostly ball is silent and disquieting. You struggle to keep your composure. The deathly silence that encompasses this ghostly ball strikes you as odd. Although the ghosts themselves seem oblivious to your presence, you feel a definite tension in the air. The ghosts themselves seem quite displeased about something. It doesn't appear to have anything to do with you. Then you notice what's so odd. None of the ghosts are dancing. They start to partner up, but then each time the dance is set to begin, nothing happens. Well, let's try communicating with them. You decided to use your training as a medium to make contact and find out what seems to be troubling them. There is always a risk with this type of action. Especially if we don't have a good card draw. You do your best to get the attention of the ghosts, even physically tapping on a gentleman's shoulder at on point, but all to no avail. Soon your head begins to ache. We'll try that again. I could probably get a better hand than this. It's just a 2 failure. We are strategically trying this because I want a better hand. We're not getting lucky at all. There we go. That's more like it, but we'll need swords up here if I really want to use it, and not a king of swords. Let's see. We'll win this one. There we go. So, again, failing challenges is a bit weird, especially on purpose, but because you get the most chance of rewards, the better you do. If you're looking at a really, especially early on in the game, and especially with such a low target number of 2, you're better off, well, depending upon what the event is. You're better off just failing the event and just trying to get a better hand, a better draw. You make the rounds from couple to couple until you find one that wants to talk. There seems to be a problem with the ball. Maybe you can help. That was very nice. 1 edge upgrade, 2 sanity, which makes up for the 1 we lost, and 2 experience points. What are we taking here? I'm always hesitant to max a skill very quickly. There is a wild card, or a arcana card, I think is what they're called in this game, which increases all of your edges by 1 point when you use it. And of course, it won't benefit an edge if you've already maxed it out. Let's grab hidden talents. So our cups inventory should drop back down to 0. The ghost explained that the band will not play without its pianist, and they have no idea where the fellow is. You hear a chubby old monocle-wearing ghost sitting near the wall chuckle, with his piano, of course. You contemplate the ghost's meeting, and you suspect that a piano will indeed be the key to this mystery. Yet another quest acquired. Oh, come on. Did that not work? Edges. Access to trap from... Oh! Sorry, my bad. Hidden talents only works for heroic feats. So our morphine ample doesn't contribute to this. It's not decreased because, well, it's just not. And duck and roll is already being subtracted. So, we don't get to lose another point. God, I hope I make sense when I talk. I know I don't most of the time. And this led down... Oh, perfect. This did not actually... So this leads around the insects. The basement. We're going to go down here only to get it marked on the map. And that will do. You can occasionally find, or rather fall through a pit on the first floor, which will drop you down in the basement. So knowing where the way back up is very useful. I suppose we'll investigate the other side of the mansion. I am a bit... Well, hold on. Let's think about this. Do I want to go upstairs to get to the other side of the mansion? I would prefer to have another point probably in pentacles and or cups before I explore the second floor. I guess it's not that far taking this route. A pack of ghouls. You stumble upon 3 figures hunching over something lying on the floor. They look up to face you. You recoil in horror as you observe their blood-covered faces. These creatures have been feasting on a body, and it looks human. Hey, good work, Terry. You actually managed to resist the fear this time. Your mind is strong. You've seen things far worse than this. Ghouls. You would know those canine features and that smell anywhere. The odd has been called in more than once to fight ghoul infestations. Calcutta, Chicago, London, Fond du Lac. They seem to pop up everywhere. You remember the briefings. Hit them hard and they will scatter. Don't let them swarm you or get behind you. Make sure you get any wounds, especially bite wounds, treated immediately. In the normal game, you only have the option to attack the ghouls and run. I added this option to the game some time ago. That said, it's still better for us to actually physically attack them. Running away is actually going to be rather difficult as well. It's not an even fight, but whoever said life was fair. Poor ghouls. That's a decent hand, 2 kings. We just have to hope we get one of those up here. The suits for them. Ooh, hello, Knight of Wands. Can take you with our king. Wow, we beat him the hell up. Good work, Terry Bogard. You won the battle. The ghouls are no match for you. They fall where they stood, and the puddle of blood on the floor is now bigger than ever. 2 courage. 5 courage. An experience point. 2 more courage. 1 more experience point. Good God. This is wonderful. And 3 life. Jesus, thank you, game, for being so kind to us. Wow. So, courage, arcane power, bullets, and there may be something else which I'm probably forgetting about. The way it works in this game is that when you acquire any of these things, you assign them to your skills or your guns or your spells. In this case, because this is a heroic feat, if I can actually pronounce it without stumbling over what I'm saying, we can go ahead and take the courage we've earned and apply it to it. There we go. Of course, we can't put the last point in it. We're not allowed to, so we'll waste 1 point of courage. But this is still good. This completely repowers our duck and roll. Let's claim it. Sometimes there can be a secret passage in one of those doors. Ah, looks like we found the pianist. Possibly. Three encounters in this chamber. A haunted piano. You see a magnificent grand piano in front of you. The hairs on the back of your neck begin to stand on end. You feel a presence nearby. Streams of psychokinetic energy are leaking from the piano. You can hear a wailing plea in your mind for help. Some supernatural entity possesses the piano. You brace yourself for its psychic impact. You can see the psychic wave roll towards you. You steady yourself to withstand its shock. Your mind is strong. You deflect the fear that would have sought to dominate and consume you. The grand piano seethes before you. Something seems wrong here. You sense that a curse or fell sorcery has imprisoned two spirits here. One acts as jailer to the other. You can, in fact, hear the captive plead for release in your mind. You remember a lecture during your odd training about Plotinus's theory on spirit traps. Some cursed items used a spirit to effectively bind another spirit to its existing nexus with our world. Such spirit traps could snowball out of control given the chance. Perhaps you could free both before it's too late. So, we do not have a good chance at this at the moment. So I'm going to say we're going to leave this alone, unfortunately. You're not confident in your ability to handle this right now. We did, however, gain more points. Oh, but it's so tempting just to... We could either take pentacles up a rank and then try the piano, or we could gain that bone of pentacles. Let's take pentacles first. And then we'll work on the bone. And now, this is within the realm of possible. Instead of 7 target and 5 tricks, we now have 6 target and 6 tricks. So let's try it. Free the pianist. So this must be what's holding up the pianist. He's caught in a spirit trap that was elaborately constructed in the physical form of this piano. You've heard of such things. The piano is old, but fully functional. The more you examine it, the more you realize that the piano is integral to the trap itself, which must have required a true master of spirit manipulation to fabricate. You notice that the keys have odd symbols etched faintly onto them. You recognize them as belonging to the lost scriptures of Nag Hammadi. That makes sense. If you can remember the correct release invocation and press the correct keys, then you should be able to disable the trap and free the ghost pianist. I think if you fail this, you get a trap hitting you. Oh, I've had better hands, but I've had worse. We actually have a king. That will let us win the challenge. It's not easy, but you decipher the keys and free the pianist. He is most grateful and vows to accompany you until you return to the ball. He says that you will never even know he's there. A haunted painting of a coward. Notice an odd painting hanging on the wall. It is a portrait of a man dressed in 19th century clothing who appears to be completely petrified with fear. He holds a dueling pistol in both hands, and a group of undertakers in the background seem to be digging a grave. Suddenly, the portrait seems to animate and come to life. The coward looks at you with an imploring expression as if he was seeking your help. You could swear that you can hear the gravediggers laughing. You stare at the man in the painting, and his fear seems contagious. You need to fight to keep your sanity. Took the chance we might be able to use the queen, and it did not pay off. Your mind is strong. In a playful way, you exclaim boo to the ghost, and he starts to shake and sob uncontrollably. The coward in the portrait seems to be actually shivering. He seems to be fumbling with his dueling pistol, and you fear he will discharge it accidentally. There's obviously a spirit trapped in the painting by some sorcerer's curse. So this is the other half of that quest where we killed the other duelist ghost in the painting. But he starts the quest. You also, I think, needed 4 pentacles to get it. I did not actually think I would find him, so... Well, where I did, Ed had the pentacles, but it's too late now. We've eliminated half of the quest already, so the game will not even give us the opportunity to get the quest from him. So let's use sorcery to dispel the possession. I think just these 2 were options. And I think I added the dispel. I can't remember. A sorcerer's curse of some type is usually the cause of something like this. Cursed furniture seems to be a common occurrence around here. You know what to do. Oh, fail is what I'll do. You channel your energy to a Vishguli dispelling symbol, but as you go to make the final hand gestures, you lose focus because the ghost starts psychically screaming. The coward is starting to annoy you. We'll try that again. That's better. Channel your energy into a Vishguli dispelling symbol and mark it across the painting. It is effective immediately, and you watch the spirit flees the confines of the painting and is then quickly sucked into the spirit world. A strange gong. You see a large wood and brass gong. It looks completely out of place standing over by itself in the room. You sense immediately, though, that all is not as it seems here. You've seen enough of these things to notice the faint aura that surrounds it. You have no doubt that the gong is a sorcerer's puzzle of some sort. The markings are vague, but you would place it around the period of the 3 kingdoms. There is definitely dark magic at work here. The runes covering the wooden frame must contain the instructions on how to use the gong and access its abilities. So, if we had a little more, I think, wands, we maybe have been able to decipher how to safely interact with this gong. But we don't have it. So, we only have a 3 wands. So, we'd have to actually ring the gong using our sorcery. But we'll just have to leave it alone. Or we can leave it alone. I think we'll come back. I wouldn't mind having 1 more point in pentacles first before we try this. The thought of all that noise scares you. The fact that you have no idea what will happen if you do sound the gong scares you even more. Another Class 1 haunting. The haunting manifests itself as a dim ball of light. It has no sense of its previous life or existence. It wanders hopelessly lost. You should exercise caution. These haunts cannot be reasoned with, and they can be lethal if disturbed. Oh, it's actually getting tougher for us to get her. This ghost is a lot tougher than destroying it with our psychic powers. I guess we'll use Power Wave on it. You decide to use your psychic talents to dispel the ghost and send it to the spirit world. It will most likely resist. Come on, Terry. You engage in a psychic duel with the ghost. It overwhelms your psychic defenses and tries to get into your mind. Try that again. Yeah, but only by 1. So we only have to draw 1 card. We failed. Thought we might get lucky and be able to use the king. This is proving to be quite a battle, isn't it? You engage in a psychic duel with the ghost. It turns its mindless anger and desperation against you, but you prevail. You feel that whatever it was before would thank you for the peace you gave it. That 4 sanity is nice. Maximum sanity and health you can have is 40. I do not know if there is a limit to your stats. I think the highest I've ever gotten has been 12 in a stat. An alchemist. You see a grizzled old man dressed in some grungy old robes. He seems aware of your presence, and he waves you forward. He introduces himself as the alchemist, and you notice he is indeed surrounded by a menagerie of strange equipment. You wonder what on earth he is doing here in this mansion. He doesn't seem at all disturbed that you have dropped in on him. Oh, wow, this is tough to talk with them. You decide to engage the alchemist in a little conversation to try and discover what he's up to. You continue to make lots of small talk, but besides some pleasant smiles, he doesn't seem quite convinced about you. You feel like he is tossing something over in his mind. Losing 3 sanity for failing to... Oh, okay. And so because we lost so much sanity, the game is like, holy crap, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make it so tough for you. Let me lower that difficulty. And it has lowered it from a 6 to a 3. Thank you, game. Let's try this again. I'm just going to fail because I don't see anything that I like down below. I can do better than one single page. He seems to size you up, and you get to the heart of the matter. He wants your help, and he's willing to help you in return. Yes, young master. You will suffice, I think. I cannot leave this room because I cannot, but I need my papers returned to me if I am to complete this great work that I have set out to finish. My legacy, you see. He wants you to recover some papers that are nearby. The papers are warded, so you must speak the words of release when you find them. He can't remember exactly where. He mumbles some warning about competitors, and then sends you on your way. We found some papers earlier, somewhere over here. Did we find 2 sets of papers or just 1? Forgot all about you, Death. We will play the game with Death. Alright, so there's some papers here. One group of papers, one group of papers. That may be the papers we need, but there are multiple piles of papers that may belong to a different quest instead. We'll come back to, we'll be over on that side of the manor eventually, so let's keep moving. It's a tough choice whether or not you just want to run back and turn in quests that you have things for, because that early experience points could really be worth it. But I tend to view the doubling back and forth as a time sink, or a waste of time, where I would much rather keep exploring while possible. Because we can eventually worm our way back around by going up to the 2nd floor and getting even more exploration done. Let's look at this door. You see a locked wooden door with a carved, grinning ornamental skull mounted on it. The skull glares at you ominously, and you feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. The skull's teeth look like they might be keys of some type. We don't have a good chance of either of these. The game's increased the difficulty of the cups somewhat significantly, I have a hunch. It probably is 10 normally, but the game sees our 4 cups and is like, oh yeah, we can make this tougher for you, jerk. Let's leave this alone at the moment. A mail room? Interesting. Pile of papers. You see a bunch of papers spread out on top of a desk. Among the clutter, an assortment of old envelopes, letters, and even a few parchment papers. So we can search through these, but notice that there's no other option. This is not the pile of papers that the alchemist wants. We're here, so we'll search it. That was really lucky. Getting a Knight of Pentacles right away, and having the Queen. Not bad. Thank you, game. You speak the words of release, and you can feel the ward dissipate. You grab up the sheets of paper and put them away in your pockets. Oh, this is what we needed! Oh! Oh. Oh, crap. I didn't even realize that. I thought this was just a pile we were searching. I mean, it was, but I didn't think it was a quest pile. There's our Bone of Pentacles. Let's begin working toward a spell next. Since we do have the papers and we're right here, let's go talk to the alchemist. I was just talking about not doubling back, but he's so close. We might as well just do this. The alchemist, completing his quest, can give you a chance of any sort of numerous useful items. You can get a spell, maybe sometimes you can get, I think, a wand item. You might also get a chance to get a wild card, or an arcana card, I think. You decide to tell the alchemist that you have found his papers, and hand them over. Most excellent, young master. I thank thee. Now I must be on my way, but feel free to make use of anything that I leave behind. A portal of shimmering blue vapors opens up in front of him, and he steps through. The portal vanishes, and you are left alone. I think we get 1 point of experience points by default as a reward. And then the rest of this is up to find. Holy water. Okay, we'll take a look at that in a few seconds. That is a Pentacles item. 1 use remaining. Item removed from inventory after last use. At the beginning of any combat challenge with the undead subtype, 2 random tricks placed on the board are in a scryed visible state. Oh, just having this in our inventory gives us +1 pentacles, though. Oh. Interesting. I thought this was a holy water as in you throw it as like a grenade. This is instead different. So the way this works is that it's going to give us +1 pentacles at all times. Next, whenever we fight any undead, 2 random tricks will be placed on the board in a scryed state. It has 1 use, and that use is to use Cleanse Mind, which clears all impairments and gives us back some sanity. An impairment is a horrible negative effect, which affects your wands or pentacles abilities. It's like you suddenly have anxiety, or you have like a phobia of some sort. You can get them for failing some challenges if you do, depending upon what the challenge is and how badly you do. So that's really nice, getting +1 more pentacles. Very nice indeed. It does weigh 2 pounds, though, or 2 weight on the pentacle side. That's a bit awkward because spells generally cost 2 as well. We're now up to 6 here. You know what? Let's try it. Attempt to figure out the combination. You examine the skull closely and note that the teeth are indeed keys and the eye sockets are buttons. Maybe they can be depressed in some sequence to gain entrance? Oh, not the best. We have only 1 face card, a Queen of Cups. We also have an ace. I mention what I have just in case you guys are listening, by the way, to it, and not watching what I have. Because this is a trap, I'm not going to take any chance. I want to fail this as little as possible, or succeed. Nice, Tim. Oh, darn it. I should have used a 7. Well, too late. The Death's Head strikes you as somehow familiar. Suddenly, you remember the illuminated manuscript, Secrets of the Lost, where you saw it, and you try combinations of the various formula found in the Dark Tome. Eventually, the mechanism clicks, and the door opens. Strange operating room. A clue. Hello. You come across the corpse of a young man. He hasn't been dead long. There were 2 odd bite marks on his neck. Looks like the odd is correct. Probably is a brain bot. You hear the taps of its metal legs on the floor and then see it emerge from the shadows. A brain bot. Soldier slaves created by the Talisrati from human victims to fight their interdimensional wars. They are quick, efficient, and merciless. Nothing remains of their past humanity. The thought of it is horrifying. Your eyes widen in disbelief as you behold the human brain encased in its robot body. You have an extra draw or 2. Let's use the king. Just win the horror challenge. You don't ever get another chance for horrors. Your mind is strong. You usually things far worse than this. You've seen these things in action a few times before, and you're confident that you can handle yourself in this situation. But the geese use these, Terry? The brain bot seems to be on patrol. You should act quickly before it summons reinforcements. Wow. Well, that's not going to matter. And if it's not going to matter, then I'd rather fight. Attack the brain bot. Its weak spot is the motivator underneath its carriage. It's a difficult spot to hit unless you can manage to flip them over. Not a bad hand. We have 1 face card. I'll risk that we'll get a better wand. And I failed. You lost the battle. You learned much too late that those sharp, pointy legs can really hurt. We'll try it again. It's a little easier for us. Still failed. Ooh! Ill omen! Our luck is decreased. Try attacking it again. That means the loot we get will be worse. I didn't realize we could get ill omens from fighting brain bots. Now we know. You won the battle. The brain bot sparks and sputters as the cerebral fluid leaks out of the brain case. Oh, this. So the game has bugs, everyone. Another reason why I can't recommend it. Whatever this is, we can't interact with it. Poison gas trap. You feel your foot press down on the pressure plate and then hear the click as the tablets hit the pan of acid. A cloud of poisonous gas erupts from the floor beneath you. You notice that the gas is rising in a cloud as if it was being shot upward. You decide to cover your mouth and hit the deck to get out of the way. We don't need duck and roll, so we can just win. Your quick thinking keeps you out of the poison gas cloud. Oh, that makes up for the ill omen we got. That counters it, basically. I once played a character who got like 5 or 6 ill omens. It was terrible. He definitely did not win. But it was funny to see me have like a -6 luck at the end of the game. A giant green ooze. You've come face to face with a green ooze. You didn't even notice it at first. It sticks to the ceiling, hidden in the shadows, waiting in ambush. Suddenly, it drops to the floor with a sickening, squishing sound and forms up in front of you. You feel a rush of adrenaline-fueled fear sweep over you. This lab experiment gone bad could mean the end of you. Your mind is strong. Usually things far worse than this. You're part of the team that hunted down and eliminated the Lab 257 scientists, after all. You thought that the last of those Lab 257 experiments had been hunted down and destroyed. It seems that you were wrong. You try and recall the warnings from the briefings. The creature will try and suffocate you by enveloping you in its amorphous, slimy tissues. This is a very dangerous encounter. If you fail any of these, you will be sucked into the ooze. Normally in the game, you can only attack it or flee it. I added a spell option to it in case you're not playing a physical type character, and I think we will try using it. These things are incredibly tough and are known to be able to regenerate damaged tissue unless they are frozen. Granted, there's a great deal of ooze here, but you're confident you can put this thing on ice. We need to play one of our face cards to win, and we really don't want to lose this one. And we won just like that. You can get some good stuff from an ooze as well. I think we can get some rope if we're lucky. That's a weird thing to look for, but rope will be so useful if we can get it from this thing. The creature's overconfidence proves its undoing. It attempts to engulf you from all directions. When it does, you cast an ice nova centered around yourself and catch every inch of the creature in it. You smile to yourself. Overconfidence can be a slow and insidious killer. Alright, lots of life and some experience points. I was hoping for an item, but whatever. Now, what spell do we want? Shrivel Flesh. Roll 1 bone, and then select up to X non-face cards of the same suit in your hand, and convert them into pages, where X is the number of pentacles rolled. Roll 1 bone to select a non-face card in your hand, and discard, and then subtract the numerical value of that card from X random revealed trick cards, where X is the number of pentacles rolled, then draw a card. Roll 1 bone and select a non-face card in your hand and to discard, and then add the numerical value of that card to X random non-face played cards of the same suit. Max value 10, where X is the number of pentacles rolled, then draw a card. So basically, you discard a card with Ray, and then a random number of trick cards will have their values decreased by that number, and then you get to draw a card. This works the same way, only this increases your cards rather than decreases the tricks. So this increases the cards you've played rather than the tricks that are on the board that you would try to take. Roll 1 bonus, select up to X revealed face trick cards, where X is the number of pentacles rolled, and transform them into non-face cards of the same suit with value Y, where Y is the number of cards selected multiplied by 2. Then draw a card. Roll 1 bone and select up to X revealed face trick cards and turn them into non-face cards of the same suit. I see. And the less cards we select, the lower they'll be. That's actually really nice. You've used Typhon's Embrace before. Roll 1 bone, select a non-face card in your hand to discard, and then add the numerical value of that card to X random non-face cards of the same suit in your hand. So this buffs your cards in your hand as opposed to cards you played. Roll 1 bone and select a revealed face card and transform it into an ace. Then draw X cards with X number of pentacles rolled divided by 2. If a drawn card has a numerical value of less than or equal to the number of pentacles rolled, then add 2 points. Oh wow, that's nice too. These are all really nice. I like the Hyperborean. Let's go with Shrivel Flesh. It's a good one to have. It changes our number cards into pages. So, let's take it. Oh, nice. And that weight only 1 weight for Shrivel Flesh. And it can be used in combat, sorcery, and battle options. Well, let's see what this is. A creepy mortician. You see a human figure lurking in the darkness, and you don't like the look of it at all. It steps forward from out of the gloom. You're confronted with a strange and unusually tall man who towers over 6.5 feet. He seems dressed like a mortician of some sort. He opens his hand to reveal a spiked shiny sphere that miraculously hovers out of his palm. He smiles, and a creepy voice says, "I've been waiting for you, boy." This is from Phantasm, a movie I still have never seen. You have seen a lot of strange things, but this one is right up there. You have the feeling there is a story here that is just the tip of the iceberg. Your mind is strong. You see things far worse than this. After all, you were part of the first odd team to breach a dimensional barrier. This guy and his gizmo don't scare you in the least. The strange man continues to approach you, striding forward with an unnatural gait. The spiked ball now launches itself at high speeds towards you. It's either fight or flee at this point. Normally, in the game, you can only attack the strange man or flee. I've added a wands and a pentacles option for dealing with him as well. And it looks like we're still going to be using our power wave to defeat him, because that target is really tough. He's not normally this tough. I think the difficulty is normally 8 for this, but we have 5 pentacles, so the game is beginning to make it tougher for us. Let's go ahead and invoke spells to counter him. Sure, he's got a floating bladed spear of death, but you've got real magic to deal with this sort of thing. And we can use our Hyporian spell, but I don't think I need it. Unless we won't even need to cast it. I hope. Wow. Well, it wouldn't matter anyway. We fail. We didn't get any pentacles. And the 2 cups we had were both higher than the knight we had. The floating ball torments you, slicing open a new wound. You hear the strange man laugh in delight. I think you can get a wound from this fight, so we better not do this too often. It's always best if you fail the challenge to use the same thing that you had failed the challenge with, because the game's going to make that easier for you the next time. If you switch up what you're kidding me, what you're going for. There were 3 kings as tricks. Come on, game. What the hell? If we were to move to this one instead now, then this would make it a little easier for us. We'd have to... I'm babbling. Stick with the same thing whenever you get a chance, because if the game makes it easier, it only makes it easier for the thing you last used, not all the options. Or at least I think that's the way this works. That lets us win. That wasn't so bad. We didn't take any damage, really, from the battle anyway, so... You dodge the swift attacks of the sphere, landing a wither spell on him. He screams in torment, his body racked in pain, and the sphere collapses to the ground. You finish him off with a word and press on. You come across an antique mirror. The glass is dirty and streaked, covered in dust, but you catch a glimmer of reflected light off of it. As you look into the mirror to see your reflection, you start to feel uneasy. You simply can't see yourself. It's like you are looking through a portal. Suddenly, the blurry outline of a woman appears. Something supernatural is afoot here. You are startled by the woman's sudden appearance. You realize that you are looking into another dimension, and the implications race through your mind, stirring up distressing fears and emotions. Your mind is strong. You have no problem dealing with the mysteries of the universe. I guess not any longer. We used to have quite a problem with that. The woman in the mirror does not seem overtly threatening, but she is terrifying nonetheless. She floats on the other side of what surely must be a portal. She can't possibly be human. The only word that describes her is ethereal. You begin to hear a low moan emanating from the mirror. The sound is truly chilling, and you feel as if it is trying to paralyze your mind. Let's talk with her. It's risky, but you might be able to communicate with this other dimensional woman. This might not be an invasion. Maybe it's just a call for help. Oh, we got a good hand for this. It is said that the eyes are a door into the soul, and this proves to be the case here. You establish a mind link with this ethereal creature and discover that it desperately wants your help. The woman in the mirror is indeed a powerful creature from another dimension. It is searching for its child, who was stolen from it by a sorcerer from your world long ago. The child would be a creature of pure energy in this dimension, and it was imprisoned by the sorcerer in an ornamental vase. The ethereal mother has tracked her child to this location, but cannot cross over. She wants you to find the child and free it. She teaches you the incantation required to break the seal. She promises to reward you if you do this. We know where the child is. It's on the other side of the mansion. Let's see if this... we're right here. We'll search some of the junk room maybe first. The bas-relief face. You have come up a large bas-relief face mounted on the wall. Its features are worn and it looks quite old. As you stare at it, you start to feel uneasy. Suddenly, you realize that the mouth is moving, its lips ever so slightly, and then you hear the mumbling. It starts as a whisper, but you can't get it out of your head as it grows in intensity. If this keeps up, you are certain it will drive you insane. You fight to keep the mumblings from overwhelming your mind. You can't understand any of it, but the droning noises seem to want to burrow deep into your skull, and that can't be good. You begin your own chant based on the Zen relaxation technique you learned in the Orient. It works to cancel out the mumbling and clears your mind of the pain. The face of the wall looks amiable, but you know otherwise. The lips continue to move, but the mumbling is barely audible. Examining the bas-relief more closely, you notice there is a pictograph script of some sort disguised within the frieze that encircles the face. You sense eldritch sorcery at work here. The bas-relief could be enchanted or cursed, or merely serving as the physical nexus of some malevolent force. You realize that you should proceed with caution. Well, let's try to decipher the pictograms. You start to take a closer look at the strange pictograms hidden in the frieze that surrounds the bas-relief face. You think you recognize some of the symbols as variants on the Indus Valley steel stones. Perhaps you can decipher them. They might help you understand that strange mumbling, or perhaps even warn you of any danger from the eldritch sorcery that permeates the face. 2 kings, that's really good. And 2 9s for the other suits. It's not terrible. You step closer and examine the pictograms. They are indeed related to the sealed stones of the Indus Valley. You piece together their meaning by recalling their training in the odd lost languages lab. The eldritch creature is known as... Yep, that. And it has been bound to the face as punishment. The mumbling must be its attempt to communicate with you. What is that? 6-6 Mulligoth? 6-6 Mulligoth. Another Ore of Fortune. Very nice. The face of the wall looks amiable, but you... Didn't we do this? We read this one already. Alright, well, now that we've deciphered it, let's go ahead and listen to it. Aware that you must proceed with caution, you focus your mind and try to attune yourself to the rhythmic cadences that issue from the lips of the bas-relief. Perhaps something can be learned from what appears to be just dangerous gibberish. Well, for us... Oh, okay. I'm about to say, we better get a king. We better get wands up here, but we have a queen of pentacles, too. You slip into a trance, and the words take shape in your mind. You are face to face with an ancient eldritch creature of terrifying power, and its name is Six Molagath. It is, however, trapped in the bas relief. It wants to strike a bargain with you. Oh? The bas relief face seems to almost be smiling at you, and it makes you uneasy. The smell belies the agony that it must be in. The mumbling's meaning now seems crystal clear. Its heart has been ripped from it and hidden somewhere in the house. The sorcery binding it cannot be broken until its heart is returned to it. It wants you to seek out the wall that weeps blood, and reach inside and to find and free its heart. It teaches you the words of release, and promises that you will be rewarded should you help it free itself from the face. We'll go for cups next, and then we'll add another skill card. This is a big first floor and very, very windy. A protector. I think this is our first one. You stumble upon a small, twisted, hunchback dwarf. He seems to be as surprised to see you as you are to see him. He must be a servant of some sort. Without hesitation, he starts yelling, "Alarm! Alarm!" There seems to be no one around to respond to his cries for help. You can attack him, shatter his mind, blast it with the spell, or flee. Normally in the game, you can only attack it. I have added these two options. I think we will just attack it, though, to start. Twisted little hunchback moves pretty fast for a cripple. In short order, you are the one who looks like a gimp. Oof. We'll try that again. The twisted creature lets out a pathetic moan as it crumples to the floor. With its last breath, it gasps, "The master will not be pleased." I'm kind of glad we lost a little bit of life. I don't like walking around with too much of it because the game punishes you more the more of it you have. Oh no! An eggy poltergeist of knives! You hear the clatter and swish of air before you even see it. Then suddenly in front of you is a supernatural cyclone of razor-sharp butcher knives. It's moving right towards you, and you don't have the luxury to panic. You fight to keep yourself calm and not give in to the panic. Your mind is strong, your will obeys, and you're ready for whatever comes next. You know a poltergeist when you see it, and this one is armed, dangerous, and mad. Oh my god, that's not a good chance for that. But we have an okay chance to try to dispel it. Let's try it. Use sorcery to against the poltergeist. You decide to unleash your energy on this thing and destroy it utterly. Come on, cups. Come on, cups. Let's win. I don't want to really deal with the poltergeist. I think it can really hurt us. You open a tiny rift in space and time and send the poltergeist away. You hear it scream like the air leaving a balloon as it is sucked out of our dimension and into another. An axe-wielding madman. You stop as soon as you catch sight of the lone figure near the wall. You might have thought that he was a statue standing there as his only movement in the gloom was the slow, labored rise and fall of his chest as he drew breath. Without warning, he bursts out into a maniacal cackle that sends a shiver down your spine. You have no doubt that you are hearing the laughter of the insane. The maniacal laughter is truly disturbing as it echoes around the room and out the doors. I have pentacles of some sort. Your mind is weak. You struggle to maintain your sanity. A gaunt, thoroughly insane man wielding a bloody axe lunges towards you. You are certain that there is no way to reason with him, so you can save the questions for later. I did not alter this encounter at all. And this is not a good chance to beat him up. And we can get a nasty wound fighting him. He is undead, though. We have our holy water. Let's try. You size him up and decide that you can take him. Hopefully he's just your normal axe-wielding lunatic and not some super-strength fanatic fueled by incomprehensible dark forces. We can also use our spells if it comes down to it. So let's immediately use our knight here. We failed. He comes at you like a cyclone, and you find yourself struggling to avoid his attacks. The maniacal laughter that accompanies his onslaught is deeply concerning. Oh. Thank God. Again. We need to win this fight. It's too dangerous not to. That's good. I don't think, even if I made this a page, I don't think it would matter. We'd earned 4 points, but I don't think we can get more than what an 11 total score over our target would give us. You make crazy short work of the lunatic, and his axe doesn't even touch you. I think there's a chance to get his axe from this encounter, but we did not. Skill card time. Another pack of ghouls. We already read about one of them in this episode, so we won't do so again. I think I'd rather have the draw than the tricks, so we'll try to use magic against them. Another pile of papers. You decide to search through the papers. You never know what type of useful information you might find there. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, okay. Well, that's not so bad. We have a Queen of Pentacles and a Page of Swords. You only get one chance when searching papers, so you might as well go all out and try to win it. Don't fail this search. You don't come across anything earth-shattering, but there's enough information here to boost your confidence that you're on the right track. A locked door. You see a locked wooden door. There is a worn keyhole right where it belongs, but no sign of a key anywhere. This is not a good chance to do either of these. Look at that difficulty, because our cups is 5, again, the game decided to hike up the difficulty. It looks sturdy, but with a little effort, you might be able to kick or shoulder your way through. It is an old house, after all. Splinters and a loud noise announce your success in battering down the door. The way lies open now. An occult card game ritual. You see a spent candle placed next to 7 chalk circles. You have the impression that somebody has been playing a game here. You notice the card sitting in 3 of the circles. A sudden chill shoots down your spine as you recognize one of the cards. Death. Something supernatural is going on here, and you can feel it in your bones. A ritual was in the process of being performed and was suddenly interrupted. You can sense a spirit energy swirling about this place. Your mind is strong. You shrug off the effects of the supernatural energy that has been drawn to this location via the ritual that the deck has begun to invoke. Alongside death sit despair and darkness. The unseeing eye seems to preside over all 3. This is a very unusual deck. You can't place it exactly from memory. You think it might have originated in the Balkans, but you aren't sure. You study the setup carefully and decide what to do next. Let's try to decipher the game. You decide to try and examine the card game setup more closely to see if you can identify it and what it was trying to do. That's a good hand. That's a very good hand. That's really lucky. That one wasn't as lucky. Nice. Holy crap. Wow. Yes, you recognize the deck and the setup. It's clearly the work of the Red Hand. You thought that the cult had been destroyed utterly. Why would a Red Hand divination deck be set up here? There must be a spirit key nearby. You should try to find it. Another edge upgrade. Let's take lightning reflexes up another point. Make traps a little easier for us. And we know where the Red Hand is. That was a painting on the other side of the mansion. Story advanced. Token drawn. Where are the newborn? You have not found any newborn vampires, which you find odd. This coven must be in dire straits. Desperation breeds a fierceness all of its own. Hunting down the wives and killing the elder will not be easy. Well, that seems like a good place to stop, everyone, since we just drew another story token. We can summarize what happened in this video. So, we've grabbed the Hyperborean Sorcery Specialist, a spell, grabbed 2 points of Pentacles, and a Talisman of Bones. We've increased our swords another rank, and we're working towards the next skill card. We've got some holy water, which is helping our pentacles out as well, and we've explored a good deal of the mansion's first floor. We found another clue token, and look at all the quests we have. Holy crap. We know where this one and this one is, and we actually have found the pianist and just have to return to the dance here in order to complete that quest. So looking pretty good. Looking pretty good for Terry. It's going to be tricky what skill card I want next. Investigator would give us swords and wands, and since I don't have any other type of weapon at the moment, it might be best to go with that. We'll see. We'll see. In any case, everyone, thank you guys for watching, and I will see everyone in the next one. Take care, everyone.